WXII 12 News. This is breaking news.
If anything, the developments of the past week reinforced that ending U.S. military involvement in Afghanistan now was the right decision.
Breaking news on a busy Monday. President Biden addresses the nation defending his decision to pull troops out of Afghanistan after the Taliban took over within a matter of days.
The president said American soldiers should, quote, not be dying in a war that Afghan forces are not willing to fight for themselves, end quote. Right now, chaos unfolding in the country. 7 people killed at an airport today as they tried to hang on to an American military jet as thousands scramble to flee.
And we will talk much more about this Taliban takeover and how the U.S. is responding, including reaction to the president's speech, coming up in just a little bit.
But we want to get to the weather right now. Today is an impact day.
We're also watching multiple tropical systems, including one that just popped up moments ago. Let's get to meteorologist Jacqueline Shear. My goodness, lots on your plate tonight.
Yeah, it's been a busy hour or so. A lot of changes here, including 2 new flood advisories that I want to get to right off the start here. This one for Patrick, Stokes, Surrey, Yadkin County in effect until 10:45 tonight. That's why I wanted to start with this one. This is a long duration event. So if you need to go anywhere, well, I would plan to take it slow, be very patient, be very careful. Do not drive through flooded roads. But since this is lasting through after nightfall, I would advise if you really, really need to get out, do it before the sun goes down, because that can make flooded roads much harder to see. But again, never drive through flooded roads. Here's a look at that flood advisory that we've also got in effect for areas like Davidson, Montgomery, Randolph, Stanley counties. This one expires at 6:45. Not hard to see why. Take a look at all of this rain. That rain just starting to move into that 10:45 flood advisory zone, by the way. But here we definitely have that moderate to heavy rain in that other flood advisory zone. It's moving towards the triad right now, bringing heavy rain, bringing some lightning as well. Take a look at this line of heavy downpours moving through the area. That'll likely get to you pretty quickly depending on where you're at in the triad within the next hour or so. I'm expecting it. And there's a lot more moderate to heavy rain to come here over the next few hours. So this is going to be a very busy evening. Thankfully, we're not expecting severe storms today. If we get a severe thunderstorm, it will be isolated. It won't last all that long. Tomorrow's a different story. We do have a severe outlook, a slight risk of severe weather, heavy downpours, a high threat, damaging wind, even a medium tornado threat. Now, this is because of Tropical Storm Fred. What will be the remnants at that time will be in the northeastern quadrant, which does indicate to us that there could be some severe weather. We're going to take a closer look at that coming up when I see you next.
Jacqueline, thank you. A reminder, you can stay ahead of any severe weather with the WXII 12 News mobile app. Make sure you turn on alerts so we can send notifications straight to your smartphone or your tablet.
Now to breaking news. We're following in Afghanistan, where the Afghan government has fallen and the Taliban has taken over.
The Taliban has been making gains in that country. Things escalated significantly yesterday when it took Kabul. That is the country's capital city. The country's president fled yesterday. Now thousands of Afghans are desperately trying to do the same.
Today, 7 people died at the main airport in the country trying to leave. Now, the U.S. military has sent 6,000 soldiers, including soldiers from Fort Bragg, to the country to help with evacuations of Americans.
Today, the president defended his decision to pull our troops out, saying he, quote, stands squarely behind that decision. He announced in April the U.S. would begin pulling troops out of Afghanistan, planning for all U.S. forces to be out by September. Here's the president.
Our mission in Afghanistan was never supposed to have been nation building. It was never supposed to be creating a unified, centralized democracy. Our only vital national interest in Afghanistan remains today what it has always been: preventing a terrorist attack on America's homeland. American troops cannot and should not be fighting in a war and dying in a war that Afghan forces are not willing to fight for themselves.
The president reiterated the mission is now to get U.S. citizens and civilian allies out of Afghanistan safely.
So tonight we are getting reaction from an assistant professor at Elon University and journalist who actually spent some time in Afghanistan. This was back in 2011.
Right. Prior to that, he served as a Marine in Iraq and is also a Purple Heart recipient. Justin Schreier has the story tonight.
Assistant Professor Alex Luxinger says while the people of Afghanistan have suffered for a very long time, he hopes that folks can understand the sacrifices made by everyone. As Taliban forces in Afghanistan take Kabul, the capital city, chaos has ensued. Assistant Professor Alex Luxinger was on the ground in southern Afghanistan in Helmand province as a reporter back in 2011 and saw the Taliban's effect on people there. He says the Taliban had been strong for a very long time. Fast forward 10 years later, when President Joe Biden made the recent decision and announcement to pull U.S. troops out. Luxinger says that decision should have been more calculated. And as the United States is now sending some troops back in to help evacuate U.S. personnel and others, Luxinger says those evacuations need to include people who helped along the way.
I would think that if they can't get a handle on getting everyone out, and by everyone, that includes Afghans that you made promises to. That includes diplomats and contractors and all those people as well. Then I could see that becoming the impetus for another round of more military going in. I think it's important for folks to understand that the sacrifices made by a lot of people there are real, they're meaningful.
And Luxinger says he feels deeply sorry for the people who are there and for the troops who are heading into Afghanistan. Justin Schreier, WXII 12 News.
Thank you, Justin. We will continue to follow this breaking news and bring you any updates as they become available. Coming up in our next half hour, we'll also have a report from our Washington bureau as the chaos continues to unfold and President Biden's response.
A man is facing a list of charges tonight accused of firing shots into a home in Trinity. The Randolph County Sheriff's Office says James Hester III fired into a home on Old Mountain Road. This happened about 10:30 this past Thursday night. Several people were inside at the time. Deputies did not report any injuries. They did, however, arrest Hester and a juvenile in connection with this shooting. Breaking news in Winston-Salem. The mayor, Alan Joines, is issuing a citywide indoor mask mandate. It'll kick in this Friday at 5:30 p.m. The mayor says he is doing this because of a rise in COVID-19 cases in his city and the recommendation by the city's public health director. As for COVID-19 cases statewide, DHHS reported more than 3,700 new infections today. Our percentage of tests coming back positive is still well above the goal of 5% or lower. It's at almost 13% right now. More than 2,600 North Carolinians are battling this virus in a hospital. DHHS reports, thankfully, there are still hospital beds available for those who need one, be it from COVID or something else.
The current surge of COVID cases is expected to continue and potentially get worse as kids head back to school. It's a big concern, and health officials, they're pretty worried about the strain on hospitals as the push to increase vaccination rates intensifies. Stacey Cohen reports.
Back to school policies become the latest pandemic battleground as case numbers climb across the country. One official warns the U.S. could soon hit 200,000 new cases per day as the Delta variant spreads, with terrifying risk for the unvaccinated.
All we can say is that this is going very steeply upward with no signs of having peaked out.
Children and educators returning to in-person learning are getting conflicting messages on masking in some states. The governors of Florida and Texas issued executive orders banning mask mandates in school, but some districts, including Dallas, Texas, are defying the order by requiring masks in school.
We're going to be nice about it, and we're going to be benevolent to a point. We're going to give them a little bit of time to comply, but we're not going to let them mix with the rest of the students.
The U.S. Department of Education sent stern letters to Governors Ron DeSantis of Florida and Greg Abbott of Texas, vowing to support educators who require masks. More children are now being hospitalized with the virus, with those 17 and under hospitalized last week in numbers 21% higher than the week before, according to CDC data. Oregon is deploying the National Guard to help stressed hospital systems. Officials insist vaccination is the most effective way to slow the spread, but just under 51% of Americans are fully vaccinated.
Heartbreaking situation where 90 million people are still unvaccinated who are sitting ducks for this virus, and that's the mess we're in.
I'm Stacey Cohen reporting.
Thank you, Stacey. Today, Yadkin County students and parents were welcomed back to school with an open house as they prepare to start in-person learning tomorrow.
Yeah, summer's just about over. Colette Stein spoke with the Yadkin County Schools Executive Director of Student Support Services to find out what they're doing to make everything as safe and as effective for everyone.
After following a hybrid learning model last school year, Yadkin County Schools are welcoming all students back for in-person learning. Yadkin County Schools Executive Director of Student Support Services, Christy Gaddis, tells us that out of approximately 5,500 students, 70 students will be fully remote.
We are very much watching our data, our raw data, these first 4.5 weeks of school, because we are very open to making decisions based off whatever our needs of our students is at that time, because we want our kids in our school buildings.
Masks will be optional, but good hygiene and self-awareness will be highly encouraged.
We do educate and require them, if they do run a fever, to not, contact us, and we'll work with them and decide what needs to be done at that point in time.
Gaddis says the school district is excited to welcome their students back. They do realize some students may struggle after not being in a traditional learning environment this past year.
We know that there has been some fallout social emotionally from the pandemic, and we have got some screeners that we've put in place that we know, so that we'll be able to early identify students early if they have needs in social emotional learning.
Overall, Gaddis says while having students back in a traditional learning environment is ideal, student health and safety will determine the future.
If we have to, based off the data, if we have to put mask mandate in place, then that is something that we will look at if need be.
In Yadkinville, Colette Stein, WXII 12 News.